So in the map function, what will happen is map function will map the function as well as the objects. Okay. So here function is going to take the argument from the object in an iteratable form. If it doesn't have to call the function and again for the different values of the argument, instead we'll give these different values to one object and we'll map the function with the object. So what will happen is this particular map function will allow function to take the argument from the object in an iteratable form. Means it will take one by one all the argument from the object and execute itself by those values inside the objects. So you can see that the map function allow you to map a function to an iteratable object. That is to say you can quickly call the same function to every item in an iteratable such as list. So let's say in this example, we are talking about one function. We have a function. What that function is for finding the square of any number. And what it is returning number to the power of 2. Means it is making a square of each number. Okay. Let's say I want to call or I want to use this particular function. So one way to use this particular function is to call the function. Let's say I'm calling the function square and I'll give the values to it. Let's say I'm giving 2. And first I execute this and then. So I'll get the value 4, right? Let's say I want to find out the square of 3. So what I have to do is I have to edit again this particular function call and then execute. Getting it? Now, if I want to find out the square of many numbers, so what is the solution? So the solution in the Python is map function. Now let's say I don't want to make a square of like this. Instead, I want to make the square of, let's say 1 to 5. So what I'll do is I'll make a list of 1 to 5 and I'll map that particular list, which is my nums, with the function square. When I'll do that, that map function will map the function with the list. And this function will take the data from the list one by one for their use. So I think that part is clear to all of you. Let's run this. So we have this list and we have this map. If we'll see what map function will give you when we'll execute it. So map function will just tell us that it is a map function and it has been considered as a map function. Now to get the output, what we required another function called list. So as the heading suggests, we are going to learn Lambda expression with the help of some inbuilt function which is called map and filter. Now here it is written Lambda expression. Actually, Lambda is not a function, it is an expression. Lambda is an expression to create a function. Okay, so about that we'll see later on. Now, if you understood this, we have mapped it, and after that, with the help of the list, we can actually, in the list, we'll just put these values, map square my num, and then if we'll run it, you can get the square of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the square of 1 is 1, square of 2 is 4, square of 3 is 9, square of 4 is 16, square of 5 is 25. So I think it is clear to all of you. Now let's go to some more complex function and try to understand that how we can use this map function here. Now let's come here in this particular function. The function name is slicer. What it will do is it will take the string and it will find out the length of the string and it will make it modulus 2. If it is a 0, then it will return even, else it will return the first character of the string. Getting it? So this is how this function works. So if a string is of the length which is a even, then it will say even. Otherwise, it will just print the first character of the string. Now here what we are doing is we are making the list of a string. So this is a list where we are putting some strings. Now this string will be taken by the function splicer one by one. So first it will take John, then it will take Candy, then it will take Shara, then Kelly, and then Mike. Now how it will be done? It will be done using the map function. So with the help of map function, we'll just write the function name, we'll just write the list name, and then what we use is we'll use the list function again to find out the output. If we'll not use the list function, it will not give you any output. Now, so we'll just execute it. So it will give you even because John has 4 letters. Candy has 5 letters, so it is printing C. Sarah is also having 5 letter S. Kelly also having 5 letter K. And Mike has a 4 letter, it will give even. So this is how your map and list is going to work. So whenever you require this, you have to use it. Like if we have multiple argument we have to give to the function at the same time, we'll use this list and the map function to do that. So I think it is clear to all of you. Let's go to another function. It's called filter function. Filter is also like a map function, but it has some additional features. Now, what is a filter function? Now, the filter function return an iterator yielding those items of iteratable for which function item is true. Now, what it is saying? The function return an iteratable yielding those items of iteratable means it will take the iteratable item with the function, it will map it, but it will filter those things. It will filter those things which is true for the function, which is true for the function. So whatever values in the argument that we are providing with the help of a list, let's say, in the list, whatever value it is true for the function will give the output to those list only, or sorry, so for those data only inside the list, or for those value or for those argument only which is provided by the list. So what filter will do is instead here, see, instead here we have the output of all the values in the list, but when we use filter, it will give only which will satisfy. Now let's see this example. You might be understanding this. Meaning you need to filter by a function that return either true or false, then passing that into filter along with your iteratable, and you will get back only the result that would return true when pass the function. So we'll get the result only to those value which is giving us the true values. Okay, let's see this example. We have to find out whether a number is even or not. So we have this condition, right? The condition is if num, which is a number, modulus 2 equal to 0. If it is, then that value will be filtered. So here just we are returning those values. Now we are using num. Inside the num, we have all those values. We'll just use the filter filter will just map those object and the function together, as well as it will do a filtering, and then we'll use the list just like a map. So as I told you, it is higher version of map. The filter, check, even, then number. Inside the number, whatever the number we are having, the even number will be given as a output. Let's see the same thing with the help of map. So what map is giving you? It is giving you a bunch of values which is generated by each and every data. See, 0, what it is returning? True. 1, what it is returning? False. 2, what it is returning? True. 3, what it is returning? False, because 3 is not even. 1 is not even, then that's why it is false. When I use filter, so what it will do is, it will just give those values which is having the value true. So if you see which will having the value true, it is just printing those as an output. So because 0 has the value true, it is giving you. 2 has the value true, it is giving you as output. 4 has the value true, it is giving you as output, in that way, right? So in that way, it is giving you the output. So the output of the filter is the value that is satisfying the condition which is true. And the map will just map it, and whatever the function want, it will do accordingly. So that is the difference between map and the filter. List function is used for both map and the filter, right? Now let's go and see what do we mean by lambda expression and in which condition this lambda expression is useful for us. Okay, let's go to the theory part, and then we'll see with the help of different examples that how lambda expression will be useful for creating a function. One of the Python most useful and for the beginner confusing tool is the lambda expression. So what it is saying that it is a very powerful tool, but for the beginner it might be confusing. Lambda expression allow us to create anonymous function. Anonymous function means function doesn't have any name. So function without the name, right? So that is anonymous function. This basically means we quickly make ad hoc function, right? Ad hoc function means not a permanent function, temporary function, right? Without needing a properly defined a function using DEF. So we doesn't have to use the DEF to define the function using the lambda expression. First thing, it doesn't have any name, means function don't have any name. Second, if we are creating a function, we doesn't have use DEF keyword. Function object returned by running lambda expression work exactly the same as those created assigned by DEFs. So what it is saying, in the lambda expression, whatever object you want to return in the lambda expression is working exactly the same those created and assigned by the DEF, means the normal function which we create, in the same way the lambda expression is going to work, but to define a function with the help of lambda expression is very different. There is a key difference that makes lambda useful in specialized roles. So let's say what are those? Lambda body is a single expression, not a block statement. So like a function, we have a block, means first we'll write the def and the function name and the argument. Then inside that we'll write the body of it with the help of return or print or whatever you want to use. You can use it to give the output. So the lambda's body is similar to what we would put in a def body return statement. We simply type the result as an expression instead of explicitly returning it. So we'll not write the return keyword at all. So what are the difference? We doesn't have to give the name. We doesn't have to use the def. We doesn't have to make a block. So lambda expression is working as one statement, one line statement. And the next similarity here, what it is saying is we doesn't have to use return keyword. Without using return keyword, it will return the value. Because it is limited to an expression, a lambda is less general than a def. What it is saying, that is the limitation of lambda, is less general than the def. Now, in the lambda, we doesn't have much scope, means every function which we write with the help of def cannot be converted into lambda as such, right? Every function cannot be converted into lambda. Instead, some easy or simple function can be converted into lambda expression. We can only excuse design to limit program nesting. Lambda is designed for coding simple function and def handle the larger task. So for the simple coding, for the simple function, we'll use the lambda expression. So that is a limitation of lambda expression. Let's see with the help of some example that how this lambda function works. Let's say we have a function which is just the same function, a square function. We are taking an argument as a num, and we are just square the num and putting the value into the result and returning the result. Okay. And when we want to call this function, we'll call with the help of a calling of a function like a square. 2 will give the argument and we'll get the output as a 4. How we can simplify it, instead of writing in 2 lines of these return, we can put in 1 line. That simplification we can do. So here also, so that is with the 3 line and that is with the 2 line, right? Now, you understood, right? These we are just returning the num into 2. So that is num to the power of 2. Now let's go and see the same thing. Can we write in this way in 1 line? Yes, we can write in 1 line also. Now we can write it def square num and then colon some space and then return num to the power of 2. That is also correct. It will not give you any any error, but you will make sure that whatever the definition is of the function, definition of the function would be of 1 line only. Then you can write like this. This is a simple expression that we can write. Okay. Let's do the same thing with the help of lambda expression. So these are the 3 varieties of function definition we have seen with the def. Now here we would see that how we can use the lambda function for that. Now this is how we can use it. We have to use lambda keyword, the variable that we want to use, colon, and what we want to do with that particular variable. So it is num into 2. So this will become your function. This will become your function. Now this function, because it is a lambda expression, so the object name is lambda, so it is just a lambda function. Now this particular lambda function we can assign to some variable, right? And then we'll use the variable and the expression on it. You can see that how it is happening. Lambda, and then what variable we want to give as output, and then what is your output that we are writing. And with the help of a square expression, we can put the argument. This argument will take it as a num, and that num will going to give num to the power of 2. So this is how your lambda expression works. There are other ways that how a lambda expression works. So this is a simple way, right? First, we'll make sure that the lambda expression is correct for our function, and then we'll give it to one variable, and that variable is going to work with that. Now, the question is, then why we use this lambda function? Because here also it is of one line, here also it is of one line, and then we are using the square, here also we are using the square to call it. Then why are using the lambda? So the answer is many function calls need a function pass in such a map and filter. So we have many functions which required the map and filter functions. So for that, if you are writing with the help of lambda expression, it will be very easier to do. Often you only need to use the function you are passing in once. So instead of formally defining it, you can just use the lambda expression. Let's repeat some of the example from the above. Let's go for that. This is my lambda expression for finding the square of any number that we have mapped with the list, and with the help of a map function we'll do that. So instead of writing the name to the whole function, we'll just put the function inside it. So because it doesn't have any name for that particular function, we'll just put the function in it, and with the help of a map we can map this with the object, and then it will take the value from the object one by one. So because my num has the value 1 2 3 4 5, it will take 1 2 3 4 5 one by one, and it will give you the output as num to the power of 2. And list we are using to get the output in the form of list. And map we are using to map this particular function with the help of the iteratable object. Now this is also an example where we are using lambda function with the help of a not map. We are using filter, and then nums are there. Num will have the value from 0 to 10. It will take the value and it will find out which is giving you the true values of this expression. So because all those numerics which are even will be true here, and what all those numerics which are false will be excluded out from the output, right? The same that we have seen. So with the help of map and the filter, we can use lambda expression. So what is lambda expression? First of all, it is an anonymous function, means it doesn't have any name. It will be for the temporary purpose we are creating it. Second, lambda does not use return, and lambda we doesn't have to use def keyword for creating a function using lambda expression. Now the limitation is whatever function we can use here that can be expressed in one line could be converted into lambda, and it is very important. The complex function would not be converted into lambda expression. The complex for lambda is not for the complex function. If we want to define a complex function, we have to use the traditional way def to define it. So generally we'll use this lambda with the help of map and filter. So as well as second application of lambda is in a data science. when we want to filter or when we want to clean the data and we want to do many things related to data, and we don't want to make the function for doing things into the data, we'll use the lambda expression. Let's say we want to do a one line thing with all the data inside your data set. So on that case, we'll use the lambda. So in data sciences applications, lambda function is very much useful. Instead of writing the whole function, we'll use the lambda function, which will work on those objects, because the objects are the huge table and we don't want to give the value of those huge table manually one by one, right? So it is a good thing that we are using lambda and the map function to do that. Okay. So let's see what this lambda expression is giving you. It will take the string and it will give you the first character of the string. This particular function, lambda expression will give you that. What this lambda expression will give you, it will take the string and it will just do the reversal of it. So it will start from the very last and it will do the iteration from the up to the first. So for the reversing any string, we'll use this. We can even pass in multiple argument into the lambda. So 2 or more argument we can pass. How we can pass? Instead of writing only one variable, we can write 2 variables, right? So x and y, and whatever you want to do with x and y, you can do it with the help of a definition. Let's say we want to add it. So this is how we can make the expression. Okay. Let's see some examples. And we'll try to convert those examples with the help of a lambda. Okay. Let's say this is a function. What this function is all about? This function is for echoing the word. We'll take the word and how many times you want to echo it. So we have 2 argument inside this particular function. What it will do? It will just make it, if you have a string, it will make it into how many times you want to make it into. So let's say we have a word IT, we want to make it echo for 3 times. We'll just call this particular function echo word. It will give us the output 3 times IT, right? So this is how this function is going to work. Now let's convert this function with the help of lambda expression. Now this is a lambda expression for that. So we have 2 variables here. What is the first word? Is word 1, which we are giving, and then echo, which we are giving. And then there is a word into echo on that. That lambda expression, we are just providing to 1 variable. And with the help of variable, we are going to call it. What is that? Hey, and then 5 times. That we are putting into the result and just we are printing the results. So hey will be printed 5 times here. See. So this is one way how we can convert a normal function into the lambda expression. Let's go to the example 2. This is an example of raising the power. Let's say we want to raise the power of x and y. So x to the power of y, in that way we want to get as output. So we'll just write the expression for that. We'll assign the expression into a variable, and that variable will use for calling it. So 2 and 3 we are calling, 2 for x and 3 for y. So 2 to the power of 3, it will give you 8. In that way also we can write the lambda expression. Now let's see this. This is the example where we have a object. We are mapping the object with the lambda expression. This is the lambda expression with the object we are mapping, and we are just printing the square of. whatever the value we have in the square. So because square all is the map object, we have to use list. So list square all will give you the output like this, right? So print will not be sufficient for that. Print and the object name is not sufficient for that. We have to use list that we are using previously. The same way here also we have to use list if we are using map or filter. So these are the different examples related to Lambda, how map and filter is going to work, and what is the significance of list function here. So what we have seen map, list, filter, and Lambda expression, and how we can use the Lambda expression in Python. So it depends where you want to use Lambda. And as I told you, there are the limitations. So we have to understand that what are the limitations. And according to the limitation, we have to write the Lambda expression.